Begin by opening the deck lid. The tail light is attached in two places, by the engine compartment, red arrow, and one friction fit inside the cavity of the fender, yellow arrow. Use a T25 Torx and remove the two screws holding it to the mount, red arrows. Slide the tail light back and away from the fender, red arrow. If you are worried about scratching the paint, put some tape down before you move the unit. Use a small flathead screwdriver to release the clip, red arrow, on the electrical connector and slide the connector back and off. Use a Phillips head screwdriver and remove the single screw on both sides where the bumper cover meets the fender. This image shows the retaining clip that the bumper cover sits in on both sides, red arrow. Remove the 4 T25 Torx screws along the rear of the engine compartment, red arrows, 2 shown. Working underneath, remove the 2 T27 Torx screws from the bottom of the cover, red arrows. Remove the 3 T27 Torx screws holding the side of the cover in place, red arrows. This is one of the areas where you might find the wrong hardware. One of our Torx screws had been replaced with a sheet metal screw. Gently pull the cover down and away from the fender. It should easily release from the grooves it sits in, red arrows. If it doesn't, you haven't removed all the fasteners. You can now slide the bumper cover off from the rear. Place a towel down or get a friend to help if you're worried about scratching it. Before you can completely remove it, you must separate the wiring connection. Use a small flathead screwdriver to release the clip and separate the connection, red arrow. To remove the bumper and heat shield, you will need to remove the two 16mm bolts, red arrows. Use a wrench or socket and ratchet and remove both bolts. If the bolts are corroded, replace them. To remove the heat shield around the mufflers, remove the 2 plastic 10mm nuts, red arrows, and the 2 metal 10mm nuts, yellow arrows. Remove the 10mm nut from where the heat shield mounts to the inner fender well, red arrow. You now have access to the mufflers. Installation is the reverse of removal. Torque the 16mm bolts to 85 Newton meters or 63 foot-pounds. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and check out another video in this series.